wouldn't do this for everybody, you know that.
Thank you, Jojo. So you're Jojo?
Yes, I'm Jojo.
So what's this gallery been all about?
The gallery was an opportunity for me to do something I've been dying to do for 15 years, 20 years, which is to produce photographs of my work on a very large scale. I thought it was out of my reach because what I really wanted to do was cover the side of buildings and things with my work. But I didn't realise that for a few quid you could actually cover the side of a bit of a building, which is what the toilet gallery was all about.
Latrine, s'il vous plaît.
Say that again?
Latrine, s'il vous plaît.
The latrine, yes, or the bog.
So when did you put the exhibition on?
I had a little rolling exhibition. I put up one image after another for several weeks.
Yeah.
And then very irritatingly, as soon as they went up, some fucker tore them down.
So you've done an awful lot of other projects as well. You're quite prolific in what you do, aren't you? Aren't you really?
You could say that, or you could say I'm easily bored. I don't know. But yes, I suppose I'm a Renaissance man, sweetie.
Yes.
In that I have tried many different things.
And you produce how many books?
I've got three and a half books of photography at the moment.
Right. So do you get the last half book half price in these shops?
I say half because it was a kind of personal project. What I did with the half was I photographed using my mobile phone everybody who I had coffee with for a year. It was called Coffee with Jojo. It was kind of like a personal project, and I didn't put it out into the shops. So it exists.
Is that coffee with or without sugar?
Well, that was their choice.
Right, okay. So your first book was Plymouth Unveiled.
It was.
What year was that produced?
That went on sale in 2000.
And that was a very popular book, wasn't it?
Had a lot of naked people in it. Why wouldn't it be?
All Plymouth people as well.
Yes, 100 Plymouthians photographed in the nude, either in their homes or in their favourite locations around the city.
Yes. Shot at about 8 o'clock in the morning, some mornings.
Often earlier than that, because when you have to be like the SAS. If you're photographing somebody very early in the nude, in a kind of very public space, you've got to be in and out, and then in and out, and in and out, as quick as possible, as early as possible.
I remember me being photographed on the old ABC car park at 8 o'clock in the morning after having a bottle of wine the night before.
Yes,
with a CCTV camera outside the Theatre Royal across the road.
The memory of photographing you in the car park has long been something that haunts my dreams to this day.
So I really like the cover of that book, actually, the picture taken in Mountbatten.
Thank you.
What's this? Is there a story behind that you can tell?
No, I mean, what I did, I worked collaboratively, so I simply worked with my people who had agreed to say yes to being photographed, my sitters, and I worked with them to find poses or places that were comfortable to them, and then when I'd done that, I went ahead and photographed it.
Well, thanks for waving at me.
You're welcome.
And the second book was Monasteria.
The second book was Monasteria. That was different to the first in two ways. It was for either single or couples, so single people or couples, and they were all photographed in my studio. I had a studio at the time.
Yes.
And that's how that one differed. Again, 100 naked people. Right?
So what's
seeing a theme here?
Yeah, I can. Well, a bit like my themes really, but mine's very one-sided.
The difference is that my last book, Remembering Robert, also had 100 sitters, but this time they all had their clothes on.
So who's Robert?
Robert Oscar Lenkiewicz, who was an artist who was based in Plymouth and died about 10, 12 years ago, at least.
In 2002.
There you go, 10 years ago.
Yeah, 10 years ago.
Yeah, so I brought out a book last year, 2010, in which I photographed 100 sitters posing with their portraits, and each of them commented about why the painting was made and what their relationship to the artist was. And then 2 years before that, I created, wrote, directed and produced a theatre piece based on his life as well.
There's an awful lot of politics gets involved whenever you mention the word Robert Lenkiewicz. Not you as a person, but anybody in general.
Yeah.
Everybody has different views.
It's entirely his fault.
Yeah.
He was a very charismatic man, and he was able to make everybody believe that they were the only person who he would trust with this particular secret. And then he'd go and tell another 10 or 15 people. Indeed, careless. But not careless. I mean, he just. No, he's pretty. He just kind of produced in people.
I was just playing on words there. It was calculated whispers.
Yes, but he produced a great a bond with an awful lot of people who all thought they knew him and the real Robert.
On a personal level.
And he boxed himself in, and very few people knew the real Robert. And so there's a lot of politics between that's not what Robert would have wanted, or that's not what Robert was like. And I mean, for the play, I interviewed 125 people who knew him in all different capacities.
Can I talk about that in a second? I mean, when I've talked about Robert openly, you know, everything I've said has been factual. But you think by people that have left statements that I was coming from a different direction altogether, and it's exactly what you're saying.
That's my point,
isn't it? Everybody knew him on a personal level.
Well, he was capable of being very many different people.
Yeah.
So, for example, I have spoken to women who have told me how he said to them, "I love you." And I've spoken to other people who've said those words would never come out of his lips.
Yes.
There are many examples like that in which he presented different sides.
Well, the statements that came out within the press, in the Herald, for publicity probably, was saying he couldn't understand a man that stays with a woman more than a week. He'd get bored.
Yes. Well, I don't think he would mind being accused of being a hypocrite, because although he was very promiscuous and had many lovers, he also had many lovers who he maintained relationships with for decades and decades.
Yeah.
So, you know, he would always say, given a choice of two things, take both.
So what about your play then? How did that come about?
I decided it came about when there was very little of Robert left. The Lankiewicz Foundation was tied up because his estate hadn't been settled, so they had no money and no teeth, couldn't do anything.
That took about 10 years to sort out as well.
The museum had just returned the painting they had of him on loan, and all his murals were fading, and I wanted to do something to celebrate him. And at the time, I had my theatre hat on, as opposed to my photography hat, and I decided I'd create a play, and I raised money, and it was a professional production that went on for a couple of weeks on the Balcony.
And it was full every evening, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
and you come from a theatre background as well?
Yeah.
From Liverpool?
No, I was actually born in Plymouth, but I've worked in Liverpool, the everyman up there. But my background, I trained as a theatre director, and then I got into photography, and my latest evolution, I'm teaching myself to be a filmmaker.
And well, you've got a good background to that, because you've done some television.
Yeah, I was a TV presenter for 3 years, doing late night, disgusting, debauched stuff for ITV.
But it worked.
Happy memories.
So what was that called?
I did a series called The Summer of Love. I did another series called The Nether Region, and then I did a few one-off documentaries as well.
So it's given you a good foundation to develop that and take it further?
I enjoyed sitting in. I mean, it's easy to stand in front of a camera and talk and walk. A lot of people can't do it. I can do it. There's my dog. He probably couldn't do it, but you never know. And the foundation, no, I mean, like many other things, I was a columnist for 3 years. That and the TV both were luck and a little bit of chutzpah, rather than design.
Being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, and not being afraid. If I was going to give anybody a bit of advice, is you're responsible for making your own luck.
Yeah.
So, you know, my whole TV career began because I rang up some production companies and said, I have a good idea for a documentary. It's me.
As everything else is, it was very controversial series.
Yeah.
And you, what was the main feedback you got from it?
Well, the documentaries, the two main series were exploring sex and sexuality in the Southwest.
Yes.
And looking at strange and peculiar tastes. And another thing from Robert is that I don't give a shit about what other people think or feedback or whatever. It is irrelevant to me whether you like me or not. So.
Well, most of the negativity comes from hypocrisy and people with hidden agendas anyway.
And those who don't understand,
Yeah,
you know.
That's what I found. You know, when I've had criticism, it's always come definitely from people that have had more to hide or more issues over themselves than anything else, which is very sad.
The simplest solution is just to say, fuck off.
I do. So what have you got on the go at the moment?
Okay, well, I've given myself a 2-year period to teach myself how to be a filmmaker. I'm teaching myself how to shoot, direct and edit by doing. I've done about 16, 17 documentaries since January this year. We're now in December. I've been doing short documentaries. I'm about to do some drama. I'm going to make a series of silent short films. I'm going to make a couple of art house videos, and then I'm probably in September going to do an MA in contemporary film practice at the University of Plymouth, just because I love education and I can't bear to be away from it for more than 15 years, which is how long it's been.
Are they expensive courses?
The MA is £4,500 over 2 years.
Yes.
I'll sell the dog, it'll be all right.
You must be barking.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Jojo.
Okay, have a happy day.
And you, take care.
Goodbye.
Carry. I'm leaving. Yeah.